Hi, I'm Joe Lazu. Welcome back to KCZIN. Go to our website, kczin.com. Become a subscriber. Make sure we keep this message alive. Pro-independence is the only solution for our people. So here we go with the issue of how it is critical that abortion takes place. Why is it so critical? We know that the origins of this nation was started with the 13 colonies, and one of the most greatest things that existed at that time was the fact that there was a tremendous amount of value, and that value came through human bondage, and those were our people, and our people in those colonies had become the majority of the population in those particular states. And that is critical to understand because that's how wealth was actually being developed, because there was value in our people and what they produce. And of course, the more of our people were in those states, the greater the value that existed within that state. So in reality, whites were not the majority. Now, things changed after the end of slavery, and no longer were the value of our people as it was before. So the plan had to change. And why did it have to change? Because whites were not the majority in those states. And that was an issue that can cause problems because of the potentiality of Black people challenging their competition. And that's why they had to come up with a better plan, which we call Planned Parenthood, designed specifically for us. And because of that, it allowed the then majority Black states now become majority white states. It worked. Now, when you look at the numbers, as we've been talking about throughout history, and particularly in the last 40, 50 years, half of the Black family has been disposed. So we're at 50 million, we've lost exactly that number. That means that we are at a big deficit. Now, I would like you to consider this. What if the plan of Planned Parenthood was not designed for us, but it was used for other people that were not Black? What does that mean? Well, take in consideration there's 330 million people in this country, around 50 million that are Black, a total of 280 million who are not Black. Well, out of that 280 million, there's 191 million who happen to be white and white only, meaning that there are some Hispanics that apply themselves as white, but when you remove those, 191 million are white only. So if you take the total population of 280 million, which are not Black, and if they follow Planned Parenthood, each of them, all of them, you would go from 280 million to half, 140 million. Meanwhile, had we not been following Planned Parenthood, we'd have gone from 50 that we've lost, add another 10 for continued growth, and now you have 60 plus 50, 110 million plus 140 million, a population of 260 million. It would have given us a 46% of the whole population of the country. Now, what does that exactly mean? Well, 110 million versus 95 million, half of all the whites today, 191, that would have made them not the majority. In terms of ethnicity, it would have made Black people the majority in terms of ethnicity. We would have been the largest group in the entire nation. But that's what could have happened had we had followed those programs on our own, and they would have followed Planned Parenthood. So what would have happened if this would have taken place? Well, as being the majority group, that would have meant that we would control the U.S. Congress of House Representatives. We would also control the Senate of the U.S. and, of course, the White House and the United States Supreme Court. All of those would have been in our hands had things would have gone the way I just mentioned. Now, we say, well, that's great. You have political power, but that's not everything. And the answer is no. It actually is everything. The foundation of all nations is based on government. Why? Because government, the nations that they live in, control all of its economies, all the corporations, controls all of the military, controls all exploratory discoveries. They do all the things necessary to control that entire state. That's where we could have been had this came about the way I just mentioned. Then we would have been in a tremendous position. However, but it's a good lesson for us to learn, because now we know that it is critical, absolutely critical, that abortion remains in this country for us not to become the complete challengers and challenge them and defeat them. What do I mean by defeat them? We can actually put ourselves in a position where we can form our own country. That's right. We don't have to depend in America. We can depend on ourselves and compete against America, challenge it in the marketplace, and defeat it in economics, in all areas of life, and make this a better nation for our people than what America currently is to anyone else. And that's what's still at hand. We can do this by one way. Do not dispose of your family. On the contrary, increase your family. As your family grows, you grow, your voice grows, and so does your power. Increase your family, and we will grow together and build a better nation that America has had. But more than that, we as a people will become an amazing people, and all we have to do is not dispose of the value of our families.